Hello, this is Melissa Hyatt, and this is my country presentation on Venezuela. Great signs are these of the terrestrial paradise, for the site conforms to the opinion of the holy and wise theologians whom I have mentioned, and likewise the other signs conform as well, for I have never read or heard of such a large quantity of fresh water being inside and in such close proximity to salt water. The very mild temperateness also corroborates this, and if the water of which I speak does not proceed from paradise, then it is an even greater marvel, because I do not believe such a large and deep river has ever been known to exist in this world. Christopher Columbus to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, 1489. Upon seeing this new land, in such close proximity to both oceans and mountains, Columbus believed he had found paradise. He described Venezuela as the land of grace. This country contains the Andes Mountains, part of the Amazon rainforest, and the largest crude oil reserves in the Western Hemisphere. It is also a melting pot of culture and history, from the ancient native tribes to the Spanish settlers and the modern Arabic immigrants. The current form of government in Venezuela is a federal presidential republic. The official language is Spanish, and the capital is Caracas. Venezuela is ranked number 46 in the world in population size. The majority of the country is middle class, but inflation is very high, and economic instability is rampant. Venezuela is home to over 30 indigenous tribes inhabiting every biome of the country, each with their own distinct language, architecture, and customs. The name itself literally means Little Venice, after the Spanish explorer Alonso de Oeja's observation in 1499 of the Wayuu people's stilt houses on Lake Maracaibo, which is connected to the Caribbean Sea by the Gulf of Venezuela. Colonization by the Spanish began shortly after, in 1522, amid fierce resistance by the native peoples. One particularly notable uprising was in 1776. Ironically, the same time the would-be United States was having its own little tea party. The Venezuelan War for Independence began in 1811. Sovereignty was only attained after Simón Bolívar, a well-known war hero, took the helm and liberated the northern part of South America and parts of Central America from imperial rule. The newly formed territory became known as Gran Colombia, which existed from 1819 to 1831. Amid massive casualties from numerous civil wars and bids for power, Venezuela became an autonomous country in 1845. Slavery was abolished in Venezuela in 1954. From the founding of the country to the present, there have been numerous presidents and dictators who, in turns, have wielded power over the vast natural wealth of the country in the form of crude oil. It was known to the natives but discovered in the early 1900s. The 1990s saw the Bolivian Revolution, which led to a reform in the governmental system with the election of the then coup leader Hugo Chavez in 1998, and a rewritten constitution in 1999. Venezuela is a melting pot of many different ethnic, cultural, and religious backgrounds. However, since the Spanish occupation in the 15th century, over half of the population claims to be Mestizo, a blend of European and Native American, and 92% of the total population is Catholic. The official language of Venezuela is Spanish, but English is commonly used as a trade language, since there are many other groups represented, including the indigenous peoples and other European, African, and Arab immigrants. Historically, revolution and changes in government seem to be the norm with this passionate group of people. And social, political, and economic turmoil continue to rock the country to this day. The most pressing matter is an ongoing simmering march of protests. The main cause is due to a goods and commodity shortage caused by high inflation rates of the currency controls for imports and exports. The protests began in late February 2014, with the majority of the violence occurring between March and June. The conflict has cooled, but is still ongoing in what the current president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, calls flare-ups. And there is my works cited. And I think that's about it. All right. This is Venezuela and Melissa Hyatt signing off.